WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Our severe weather alert day continues into the weekend as more heavy rain could cause flooding. Let's check in first with meteorologist Paige Noel. Paige?
Yeah, Steve, the rain is really here, and it's here to stay over the next several days, and really as we head into your weekend, becoming a little bit heavier tonight. So right now we're just seeing some light rain. You'll notice that here on Pinpoint Doppler, light rain across eastern Kentucky. You'll also notice those flood warnings in effect for areas along the Kentucky River and the Cumberland River, and those warnings are going to stay into effect as we head really into the weekend and even into your Monday. Now you'll notice satellite and radar, the rain coming up from the south over the past several hours, and it's really going to stay. And as we head throughout the weekend, we're also going to hang on to this flood watch for most of our area down into Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. Virginia, Tennessee are into this flood watch, and that is until 7 a.m. or until 12 p.m. on Saturday, excuse me. And then those counties in West Virginia are in a flood watch until 12 p.m. on your Saturday. Now, as we look, we also have that flash flood watch in effect tonight, and that'll run until 7 a.m. on your Sunday, and that's because heavy rain will be moving into the forecast, and we'll break down what that means and just how much rain we are expecting in just a little bit.
All right, thank you very much, Paige. The water is still rising in Whitley County, and emergency management officials say it's some of the worst flooding they've seen. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds is there.
It's a lot at the end of the tunnel for parts of Whitley County.
Out in the county, a lot of our streams have gone down now.
But the runoff had to go somewhere.
Last I checked, we had 25 feet here in Williamsburg. This is probably a little more than the last time we had a flood. Quite a bit more water here in the park.
And now fears are rising with the flood.
Just backing up. Hopefully it doesn't get into the football field.
Damage isn't the only thing Moses is worried about.
I saw a guy was going to go in his driveway the other day, and he had to be pulled out. You know, it's very dangerous going in. You could lose your life.
Now they're staying alert as best they can.
We've got 2 rescue squads that's trained with water rescue, so they can help us if we need to go get a patient out. We're ready as we can be.
Hoping the flooding stops. In Whitley County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
University of the Cumberland's workers have put barriers around the football field, hoping to stop some of the water from coming onto the field. Well, if you plan on driving in Knott County this weekend, be careful along Kentucky 582. There is a break in the road because of all this rain. It connects the Litcar and Kite communities. There is a stoplight on both sides of the break directing people, but one lane is still open. Our sister station WVLT captured drone video of Bald River Falls near Tellico Plains, Tennessee. It shows just how much rain has fallen over East Tennessee in the past several weeks. In February alone, they have seen more than 7 inches of rain there. Safety for schools is at the top of the list for lawmakers in Frankfort. One senator is pushing for support across party lines, and others have questions about funding this bill. Hillary Thornton is in Frankfort tracking the measure.
The session is now just past the halfway point. Leaders say Senate Bill 1 should be ready Monday or Tuesday for the final vote it needs to get to the governor's desk. Senate Bill 1 is the legislature's top priority, dealing with school safety.
Last year with the Marshall County shooting, it kind of forced us into the national spotlight, and a spotlight we frankly didn't want to be in. But at the same time, we wanted to be mindful of what we were doing.
Speaker David Osborne explaining they wanted to take a very reasoned and professional approach.
And make sure that we were doing the right thing and not to do something just to be doing something.
Forming a bipartisan work group ahead of the session, Senator Max Wise filing the bill as a result of that work. The across-the-aisle effort aiming to make Kentucky schools hard targets by doing things like providing more fully trained school resource officers and mental health professionals. It would also establish a statewide school safety marshal to make sure everyone is in compliance and following good practices. And lawmakers have been clear from the beginning that this bill just lays the framework, leaving the big question of how it will all be paid for.
Every year we worry about funding on different things, and certainly we have to prioritize funding issues and how we're going how and what we're going to fund. And I think every single person, all 138 members, has made a commitment that we will fund it and we will make it a priority.
Since next year is a budget year, it is expected that if Senate Bill 1 passes this year, the funding component will be addressed then. Hillary Thornton, WYMT Mountain News.
Speaker Osborne says the school safety bill will likely be voted on in the House either Monday or Tuesday. A former UK student went in front of a Lexington judge today, answering to charges in connection to the death of 4-year-old Marco Shimwell. It was the first time Jacob Heil appeared in court since the September crash. Heil was silent as a not guilty plea was entered on his behalf. He's charged with 1 count of reckless homicide. It is a felony, so if found guilty, he could spend 1 to 5 years behind bars. A pretrial date has been set for March. This morning, we heard from a Boyle County teenager for the first time, a month after admitting she killed her stepmother and stole her car. Jenna Oakley pleaded guilty last month to manslaughter. Oakley was 15 when her stepmother, Rhonda Oakley, was killed in 2016. Oakley went missing after her stepmother's death and was found days later in New Mexico with her boyfriend, 20-year-old Kenneth Nye. Today, Oakley read an emotional apology in court. She'll be sentenced next month and faces up to 15 years in prison. Police in Florida have charged New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft with solicitation of prostitution. CBS's Hillary Lane has that story.
Less than 3 weeks ago, he was celebrating another Super Bowl win. Now the billionaire owner of the New England Patriots has been swept up in a sex sting.
That would be Mr. Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots?
Yes, sir.
Police in Florida have charged 77-year-old Robert Kraft with 2 counts of misdemeanor soliciting prostitution. He's one of 25 men charged with paying for sex acts at a massage parlor in Jupiter. They claim to have the video evidence recorded on undercover cameras at least twice.
The video that we obtained, it shows the act that took place.
If so, that evidence could lead to a plea bargain.
If there is video evidence, my guess is he will plead guilty and negotiate some kind of agreement with the prosecutor.
President Trump is friendly with Kraft and commented from the White House.
It's very sad. I was very surprised to see it. He's proclaimed his innocence totally, but I'm very surprised to see it.
The charge comes as Florida police have been cracking down on sex trafficking in the area around Palm Beach. They'll be issuing a warrant for Kraft's arrest.
We're as equally stunned as everybody else.
Kraft lost his wife in 2011 after nearly 50 years of marriage. His spokesman said in a statement that he categorically denies engaging in any illegal activity. Hillary Lane, CBS News, New York.
The charge could lead to jail time, but legal analysts say probation or community service is more likely. Prosecutors in Cook County, Illinois, say singer R. Kelly has been charged with 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. A judge has authorized a no-bail arrest warrant for the R&B star. There have been years of allegations directed at Kelly, accusing the now 52-year-old of sexual misconduct involving women and underage girls. Kelly has consistently denied them. The Housing Development Alliance here in Perry County received a grant for an opioid recovery workforce training program. This $800,000 grant will fund its Hope Building Workforce Development Project. The project will provide paid on-the-job training in residential construction to people suffering from addiction.
The program is designed to help people succeed in recovery. What we learned from the recovery service providers is that one of the biggest obstacles to people succeeding in recovery is their reentry into the workforce. We wanted to work with them to create a program to help people transition from recovery and back into the workforce.
McReynolds says he hopes to get the project up and running in the next 3 months. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, big changes are coming to the Oscars this year. We'll tell you what they are in just a few minutes.
Heavy rain, mudslides, rock slides, gusty winds. That's going to be our main threats heading into the next 48 hours. You're definitely going to want to download that WYMT weather app to stay updated with the latest watches and warnings.
And coming up in our Money Watch report, social media company Pinterest could enter the public stock market.
When you see news happening, dial *57 or text your news tip to 57.